Welcome to the Explainer. Right now, we're diving into the absolute most complex, sophisticated, and fascinating biological machine on the planet, the human body. It is a structure so incredibly well-engineered that it took billions of years of evolution to perfect. But to really understand how you work, we need to peel back the layers and look at the fundamental blueprint of human anatomy, physiology, and tissue biology. Let's kick things off with some mind-boggling math about your own existence. 30 to 40 trillion. That's the estimated number of individual cells currently operating inside an average adult human. Just take a second and let that massive scale sink in. And here's the thing, these aren't just inanimate building blocks like bricks in a wall. We're talking about trillions of tiny, independent, microscopic living units. They are working together in perfect, synchronized harmony right at this very moment, just to keep you alive, breathing, and tuning into this explainer. So how do we make sense of this massive collective? We basically use two lenses. Think of anatomy as the hardware, the physical structure, the shape, and the exact location of your body parts. Physiology, on the other hand, well, that's the software running the machine. It's the study of the biological functions and the living, dynamic chemical mechanisms of those parts. Basically, anatomy gives us the map, and physiology tells us how the traffic actually moves. When you look at the big picture, you see how these two sciences perfectly come together in a micro to macro journey. We start at the simplest level of living matter, which is the cell. When similar cells group together, they build tissues. Those tissues then combine in very specific ways to build complex organs, like your heart or your stomach. And finally, those organs network together to build the major organ systems that make up you as a whole organism. It's just a flawless architectural hierarchy. But before we zoom in on that cellular foundation, let me throw another staggering number at you to completely change how you think about yourself. 242 billion. That is the estimated number of brand new cells your body is churning out every single day. What does that actually mean for you? It means you are incredibly dynamic. You're not just a static object sitting there. You are constantly rebuilding your foundation at a microscopic level. And what are you building it all with? Mostly water. 2/3 of a single cell is literally just water, which means 2/3 of your entire body is water, mixed together with proteins, lipids, and carbs that you extract from the food you eat. All right, let's zoom in and look at that basic building block, the cell. Even though they are ridiculously tiny, cells are the smallest independently functioning units that can actually maintain life and replicate. They're the absolute ultimate common denominator of all life. If we look at the anatomy of a generalized human cell, we usually see three main features. First, you've got the cell membrane, which acts like a flexible, protective bouncer, deciding exactly what gets in and out. Inside, there's the cytoplasm, a water-based fluid packed with tiny functional organs called organelles. And right in the center is the nucleus, safely enclosed in its own envelope, acting as the brain of the operation and housing your precious DNA blueprint. Physiologically speaking, these guys are absolute workhorses. They're constantly transporting nutrients in and pumping waste out. Their mitochondria are like microscopic power plants, churning out your body's energy currency, a molecule called ATP. They're communicating nonstop through chemical signals, synthesizing vital proteins, and reproducing through cell division. Literally every organ function in your body ultimately relies on the collective hustle of these cells. But, not all cells look or act the same. Notice the incredible variety of shapes here. In biology, structure perfectly dictates function. Take a nerve cell with its massive, sprawling web-like structure. It's built exactly like that to rapidly conduct electrical impulses. Compare that to your long, cylindrical muscle cells that are built strictly to contract and generate force. You have over 200 distinct cell types in your body, and every single one is specialized for a highly specific job. Now, when groups of these specialized cells team up, we climb to the next rung on the biological ladder: tissues. Think of tissues as the body's fabric. There are 4 foundational types that make up literally everything inside you: epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous tissue. Let's contrast a couple of these. Take epithelial tissue, for example. These cells are packed in super tight with almost no gaps between them, which makes them perfect for covering body surfaces, lining your organs, and creating protective barriers. Now contrast that with muscle tissue, which is a totally different ballgame. It's highly cellular, heavily supplied with blood, and packed with contractile proteins so you can actually get up and move. Then we have connective tissues, and wow, are these diverse.
Unlike epithelial tissue, connective tissues are defined by having way fewer cells scattered through a whole lot of non-living intercellular matrix. This setup allows them to bind structures together, support organs, and transport substances. I mean, this category is incredibly broad. It encompasses everything from loose fat tissue to rock-solid bone, and even your liquid blood.
What's really mind-blowing here is that all these vastly different connective tissues, bone, blood, fat, cartilage, they all trace back to the exact same embryonic origin called mesenchyme. As your body develops, they differentiate into specialized cells, like osteoblasts for bone or stem cells for blood. It just goes to show how insanely adaptable your biology really is.
Okay, so tissues build organs, and organs build systems. Zooming way out to the macro level, we can see how your major organ systems divide and conquer. Think about the teamwork here. Your circulatory system is pumping the nutrients that were extracted by your digestive system, while your respiratory system secures the oxygen. Meanwhile, your skeletal system provides the physical scaffolding, and the nervous and endocrine systems act as the high-speed and chemical command centers orchestrating the whole show. Sure, we usually study these systems one by one just to make sense of them all, but let's be real, they absolutely do not work in isolation. True health relies entirely on their seamless collective integration. If just one system fails, say your respiratory function drops, every single other system in the body is almost immediately impacted. They are deeply, irrevocably interdependent. So, how does the body keep all these moving parts perfectly balanced? Enter homeostasis. This is arguably the most important physiological concept you're going to learn today. Homeostasis is the body's vital ability to maintain a stable, constant internal environment no matter what kind of crazy chaos is happening in the outside world. Without it, your cells just simply cannot survive.
The way homeostasis works is through a negative feedback loop, which honestly works exactly like the thermostat in your living room. Step 1. A receptor detects a change in the environment, like a sudden drop in temperature. Step 2. It shoots a signal to a control center, usually your brain, which compares the data to your normal set point and decides what needs to happen. Step 3. The brain signals an effector, like telling your muscles to start shivering, to reverse the change and bring you right back to balance. Your body is running these loops in the background nonstop. Right now, as you're watching this, your physiology is fighting to keep certain variables tightly controlled. It's working hard to keep your core temperature right around 37 degrees Celsius, your blood glucose hovering between 70 and 110, your blood pressure near 120/80, and your blood pH strictly between 7.35 and 7.45. Even the slightest deviation can trigger an immediate intense physiological response. And this balancing act doesn't just happen at the macro organ level, it is happening constantly at the micro level too. Individual cell membranes have to regulate their own internal environments. Sometimes they use passive transport, like diffusion, where molecules just naturally flow down a gradient without needing any energy. But when a cell needs to push against that gradient, it uses active transport, actually spending its precious ATP energy to pump ions in or out, maintaining that crucial cellular homeostasis. Which brings us to a final, kind of mind-bending thought to leave you with today. We've seen how cells build tissues, tissues build organs, and organs build systems, all perfectly automated by the strict laws of anatomy and physiology. But if you are quite literally a collective organization of 40 trillion individual living, breathing cells all working together to survive, who is the you that's actually in charge? It's a profound mystery right at the intersection of biology and human consciousness. I really hope this explainer gave you a whole new appreciation for the absolute marvel that is your own body. Thanks for hanging out with us, and keep learning.